Today I'm going to show you how to make a traditional Japanese sushi bowl that's perfect for get-togethers, so stick around.
Chirashi Sushi literally means scattered sushi because it's generally made by scattering a colorful variety of toppings over a bowl of sushi rice. Its festive appearance made it a go-to dish my mom turned to for birthdays and family get-togethers, and I have a lot of fond memories associated with it.
The best part about Chirashi Sushi is that you can top it with anything from vegetables to egg to seafood, and the ingredients don't necessarily have to be raw. I've done other versions in the past, but today I want to show you a style of Chirashi Sushi that's topped with a colorful assortment of seafood and veggies. Alright, let's check out our ingredients.
For the sushi rice, we need 310 grams or about a cup and a half of Japanese short grain rice. To season it, I've got a quarter cup of Mizkan's natural rice vinegar, 3 tablespoons of sugar, and 1 teaspoon of salt. Mizkan also makes a seasoned rice vinegar which includes the sugar and salt already, so if you want to save a bit of time, use a third cup of that instead. For the egg, I'm using 3 large eggs, a pinch of salt, and 1 teaspoon of vegetable oil. For our other toppings, I'm using 14 snap peas, half a carrot, 180 grams of peeled and deveined 3140 count shrimp, and 160 grams of sashimi grade fish. I'm using tuna. Finally, I have 100 grams of ikura and 2 teaspoons of toasted sesame seeds for a little extra texture and flavor. The first thing you want to do is prep the rice. You'll want to wash it under cold running water to remove any excess starch from the surface of the rice while agitating it with your hand. Once the water runs mostly clear, drain it well and transfer it into a tall pot. Then I'm going to add 1.5 US cups of water and cover it with a tight-fitting lid. You want to let this soak for 30 minutes, so set a timer and start prepping the other ingredients. To make the seasoned sushi vinegar, I'm going to add our rice vinegar, sugar, and salt to a container and stir it until the sugar and salt are fully dissolved. A lot of people assume that raw fish is at the heart of all sushi, but it's actually the vinegared rice that's common to all sushi dishes. That's why it's so important to get the seasoned vinegar right to make good sushi. Okay, this is looking good, so let's move on. To prepare the snap peas, I'm going to trim the stems off while peeling away the fibrous strips running through the seam on either side of the pod. A small paring knife makes it much easier to grab a hold of these fibers. For the carrot, I'm going to slice it into 12 coins that are about 1/5 of an inch or 5 millimeters thick. Then if you have a vegetable cutter, you can cut them into flowers like this. This is totally optional though, and the orange rounds of carrot will still look beautiful as is. Okay, let's throw these carrots into a pot of water along with a teaspoon of salt. Now you want to put this on the stove and bring the water to a boil. We're going to cook the carrots for about 5 minutes or until you can easily pass a toothpick through them like this. When the carrots are tender, add the snap peas in and blanch them for about a minute until they're vibrant green, but they're still very crisp. Then you want to transfer the carrots and snap peas to a bowl of cold water with a slotted spoon to chill the veggies down. Don't toss the water yet though, because we're going to use it to poach our shrimp. Just add the shrimp and then turn off the heat. The residual heat will gently poach the shrimp without overcooking it. How long this takes will depend on your shrimp, but it should only take about 2 to 3 minutes. You'll know they're done when they're vibrant orange and are fully opaque to the core. Transfer them to a bowl to chill them so they don't get overcooked. For our thin egg omelets, I'm going to break our eggs into a bowl. Then I'm going to use chopsticks or tweezers to remove the chalaza, which are the white membranes you see next to the yolk. This will ensure we don't have any white bits in our sheets of egg. If you can't get it all, you can also strain the egg mixture after we beat it together. Now I'm going to add a pinch of salt and beat the eggs together until the whites and yolks are fully combined. Notice how I'm using a side-to-side motion here. This minimizes the creation of air bubbles. To cook the egg, I've got a non-stick frying pan that's been heating over medium-low heat, and I'm gonna add the vegetable oil and use a folded up paper towel to spread it around and soak up the excess. We're gonna use this to re-oil the pan between omelets, so hang on to it. When you can feel the heat radiating from the pan, it's time to pour about a quarter of the egg in. Swirl it around the pan to create an even layer, and then you want to let this cook until the edges have dried out and have started pulling away from the pan. This should take about 30 seconds. Now you want to flip it over. I find it's easiest to use chopsticks and my fingers, but if you have sensitive hands, you may want to use a spatula. By the way, if your egg starts to brown, it means your heat is up too high, so make adjustments as necessary. It only needs a few seconds on this side, so I'm going to transfer this to a cutting board and repeat these steps for the rest of the egg. When you're done, you should have a golden stack of thin omelets like this, and I'm going to roll these up together to make a log. Then I'm going to use a sharp knife to slice this into thin threads. This is what's known as kinchi tamago, and the thin golden threads are used to garnish a variety of Japanese dishes. Once it's all sliced up, fluff the slices to unfurl them. Okay, for our snap peas, I'm going to cut them into the shape of leaves by cutting a V into the center of each one. Just like this. You can play around with different angles to give the leaves different shapes. For the tuna, I'm going to cut it into small bite-sized cubes. I love the color of tuna for Chirashi Sushi, but salmon and Hamachi are two other great options. And if you're not into fish, poached chicken or tofu marinated with soy sauce and ginger are both great alternatives. Now you want to keep this refrigerated while we move on to our sushi rice. Our rice has been soaking for 30 minutes now, so I'm gonna move it over to the stove and turn it on to high heat. The idea is to quickly bring this to a boil. Once the water is boiling, turn down the heat as low as it'll go and set a timer for 15 minutes. Depending on your setup, it may take 2 to 3 minutes less time, so keep an eye on it. You want to cook it until all the water has been absorbed, but if you let it go too long, it's gonna burn. Okay, our timer is up, so I'm gonna turn off the heat and let this steam for another 10 minutes. Once the rice is done steaming, you want to transfer it to the largest bowl you own. This is traditionally done in a large shallow barrel called a sushi oke in Japan, but you can do this in a bowl as long as it has enough surface area. Now I'm gonna drizzle our seasoned sushi vinegar evenly over the rice. Then I'm gonna use a spatula or a rice paddle to fold it into the rice using a cutting motion to separate the individual grains of rice without mashing them together or breaking them. Once the vinegar is evenly distributed, use something to fan the rice while you fold it. The idea here is to evaporate off any excess vinegar while rapidly cooling the rice. This prevents it from getting mushy. Once it's cooled to room temperature, each grain of rice should be glazed with the sushi vinegar, giving it a glossy sheen like this.
Before we put our Chirashi Sushi together, I want to take a moment to thank our sponsor for this video, Mizkan. It's a family-run brand that's been making premium vinegars and sauces for over 200 years, and it's the brand of vinegar my mom always used when I was growing up. Now that I'm back in Japan, we have a lot of options, but Mizkan is still my go-to brand for rice vinegar. And because they're distributed around the world, it's the best way to get an authentic Japanese taste, regardless of where you live.
Today I'm going to be serving my Chirashi Sushi in single serving portions, so I have a large rice bowl here that I'm going to add a quarter of our sushi rice to. If you're making this for a party, you can also assemble it all on one large serving platter. Next, I'm going to sprinkle some toasted sesame seeds onto the rice. Then I'm gonna cover the rice with a blanket of kimchi tamago. Our tuna goes onto the egg, and it's already looking super festive. Next, I'm gonna arrange our poached shrimp around the fish. And then I'm gonna decorate this with our carrots and the snap peas. To make this just a little bit extra, I'm gonna garnish this with a few dollops of ikura. You can also use tobiko or skip it altogether. As a finishing touch, I'm also decorating this with some edible shiso flowers today. And our chirashi sushi is done! The rainbow of colors and textures makes chirashi sushi one of the most fun dishes in the Japanese repertoire, and it's a style of sushi that anyone can make.
I topped my chirashi sushi today with a mix of cooked and raw seafood, but you can make it with whatever's available around you. It's also easy to make a plant-based version of this using mushrooms and quick pickled veggies like yellow bell peppers and red onions, so I hope you'll give this a try. As always, let me know if you enjoyed this video by giving this a big thumbs up, and don't forget to share it with all your friends that love sushi. Alright, I'm gonna link to Mizkan's website in the description down below, so be sure to check it out, and I'll catch you in the next one.